Now, the question of violence, there is no, of course, straightforward answer, and you could speak to 100 people and get probably not 100 answers, but probably a bunch of answers, right? But what I try to focus on in explaining the perspectives that I've learned from the people I've spoken to is that it's a last resort in most cases. So the quote on the back of my book from a comrade from Baltimore, I think, I'd butcher it if I tried to remember, but you can look at the back of the book, essentially shows that, number one, most anti-fascists would rather be doing other kind of work if there weren't a fascist or white supremacist threat. They'd rather be organizing to save the environment, organizing to improve living conditions, organizing to destroy capitalism. And so in that sense, for most people that I spoke to, it's something that they'd rather not be doing. Okay, they're doing it because there's a fascist threat. Well, how do we stop the fascist threat? Well, if it can be stopped by infiltrating the group online, sowing discord among their members, having them turn on each other, and not venture out from behind their computer screens, then great. If it can be done by contacting a venue owner, organizing a boycott so that these people can actually group themselves in public, then great. But if it comes to the point where self-defense is on the table, when it comes to the point where, as in Charlottesville, you get hundreds of armed neo-Nazis marching down the street, then the calculation changes. The earlier options aren't tenable anymore. And so ultimately, the perspective is by any means necessary, but what gets lost in that often is the necessary. If it's not necessary, it's often not necessary, right? And so in that sense, I think generally from the people I spoke to were very thoughtful and had a very scaled understanding of how to respond to different circumstances in different places. And there's no one-size-fits-all answer with all of this. So once again, I'm not saying this based on my personal experience. I'm saying it based on people I spoke to, trying to present what they said, trying to be a messenger.